Good morning. It's time for another episode of the pre-market post game with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we put in your hand each and every trading day. All right, so today is Friday. We got a few things going on that I want to get out the way before I forget. Number one, this will be a short one. We'll be ending at 9:30. Got somewhere to be. And number two, tomorrow is a big day because we have our Friday webinar at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard New York time. All right. And you do have to register in order to attend it. All right. It starts this Friday at 11 a.m. Registration is required. All right. So what we're going to be doing is you're going to learn how you can hold and trade cryptos at the same time. You're going to learn how to use our price trigger reports on various crypto platforms. And you're going to learn how you can trade now with any size portfolio. That's right. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And that's going to be held by, get ready. Here's the kicker. Drum roll. My man Frank. Frank is back, ladies and gentlemen. Frank is back in full force, backed by popular demand. I know y'all missed him heavily. We all did. And I know he's anxious to get back. He's been working behind the scenes, doing all types of things in the lab. And tomorrow he's about to roll out this webinar. So please register by going to pulsewavetrading.com. And you're going to want to go ahead and get your seating arrangements for that one. Seating will be limited as it always is. We can't always accommodate everybody. So first come, first serve. Y'all know how it is and how we get it in. All right. So without further ado, let's take a look at these overnight markets. I tell you. All right. The Dow is up 15 points. So make that 13 points at 27,068. NASDAQ 100 is at 11,099, even up 7.25. Even the S&P 500 is at 3314 and 3/4, down 1.25 points. Russell My Hustle is up 1 at 1543.10. Bitcoin, the mighty Bitcoin Futures Composite Index, is up $95 after topping out in the overnight at 12,000. Go Bitcoin. We're now trading at 11,945. Nat gas keeps on plugging away, up 7 cents now after topping up this morning at $2.27. We are now trading at the highs of the session. Oh, new highs, 227 and 4/10. So it is moving as I'm speaking. Crude oil up another 42 cents at $42.62 a barrel. Just hit a high this morning of $42.65 a barrel. And the long bond, trying to hang on to be the strong bond, is up 16.30 seconds at 182.19. That's 182 and 19.30 seconds. Gold, the gift that keeps on giving. Still long the gold. I love it. Hopefully, by the time I get back, it'll be topping out at 2,100. Right now, it's at $2,070 per ounce. We just hit a high of $2,076.70, a new all-time high. We keep doing it each and every day. You would know how to trade these things and catch these moves if you had the PulseWave price trigger reports. Silver is up $1.47, trading at $28.36 an ounce. The high this morning so far is $28.54. It is trying to bring back 2011. Taking a look at the U.S. dollar index, it is all up in that 92 handle, trading at 92.89, up 2 pips. Overnight low 92.52. Ouch. Taking a look at the euro dollar, down 16 pips at 118.55. Pound sterling up 43 pips at 131.62. Aussie is up 4 pips at 71.97. Canadian dollar up 14 pips at 132.81. Euro yen down 32 pips at 124.93. Is this a precursor to a slight pullback in the market today? Taking a look at the dollar yen, we got down 12 pips at 105.48. The Kiwi right now is up 9 pips at 66.58. Soybeans up 1.5 at 8.80 and a quarter. Corn unchanged at 3.23 and a quarter. And wheat up 1 3/4 points at 5.12 half. So that's a quick look at the overnight early morning trade. Taking a look at the pre-market news, we got the Bank of England avoiding last resort negative interest rates and warns the UK economy will not recover to pre-pandemic levels until 2021. The Bank of England said on Thursday that policymakers do not expect a swift economic rebound to the pre-pandemic levels anytime soon and held interest rates unchanged. Warren Buffett plowed $2.1 billion into Bank of America in just 12 days. Experts warn it could be years before he sees a return. Berkshire Hathaway now owns almost 12% of all of Bank of America stock. That is what you call a synthetic bailout. Instead of a outright loan type of a bailout, nope, they are buying up all the shares of stock. Warren Buffett is acting as an agent of the Federal Reserve, just in case you did not know. Remember Warren Buffett, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, all agents of the Fed. Goldman Sachs says investors are underestimating the chance of a COVID-19 vaccine in 2020, an event that could push the S&P 500 11% higher. Investors should price that at least one vaccine will be developed by year end, which could drive the S&P 500 up 11%, Goldman Sachs said. Notice how they very, very, very casually left out that there already is a successful treatment / cure for the COVID. It's called hydrochloroquine when used with zinc and one other ingredient. But notice how they just failed to mention that part. Berkshire Hathaway stock rallies to a 5-month high. The rally comes after Warren Buffett's company made a $10 billion acquisition, apparently repurchased more than $5 billion of its own stock, and shelled out close to $2.1 billion on Bank of America stock in 12 days. Morgan Stanley's top auto analyst told us why space investing is in danger of dot-com style hysteria and shared his best ideas for profiting from the booming theme. Yeah, it's called inverse ETFs. When NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken successfully reached the International Space Station in their SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule May 31st, calls started pouring into Morgan Stanley's phone lines. Of course, you create a hoax and then you let the sheep follow you to the slaughter. It's just how it's done. Watch your purse, ladies and gentlemen, if you were one of those sheep that hopped on the phone calling Morgan Stanley, trying to get into some space ETFs. You will be left holding the bag, mark my words, on this day. Fresh U.S. pandemic stimulus should be more targeted. Raghuram Rajan said the United States should take more of a targeted approach with its new pandemic aid so it can save ammunition in case of a future economic slowdown or a second wave of infections, former Reserve Bank of India governor said on Thursday. The Trump administration unveiled a wild plan to wall off China from the U.S. internet. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Wednesday announced a new clean network initiative aimed at blocking off large swaths of China's internet from the U.S. This right here, you guys, is sounding really, really ignorant. Why would you try to go to war with a nation that you're indebted to? I know, because you don't have the money to pay. The Trump administration unveiled a wild plan to wall off China from the U.S. internet, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't this like a day late and a dollar short? Because didn't China already censor their internet and you can't even hardly access anything in the U.S.? Very silly. Stocks are mostly down. European and Asian stocks are mostly down, and U.S. futures are pointing to a lower open of around minus 0.3%. Earnings coming in today: Novo Nordisk and T-Mobile US. Q2 2020 earnings are due. On the economic front, we had the U.S. initial jobless claims, and now we are waiting for the EIA natural gas storage change data. Anyone that is long nat gas needs to be aware of the EIA natural gas storage change data that is coming out today. All right, so heads up on that. Don't get blindsided by the Widowmaker. All right, let's see here. Where are we at? Can you buy HCQ in the USA? You know, I don't know, and I pray that I never have to know. I know that it is possible because people have come out talking about how they've used it. Remember that one senator said that's the only thing that saved her life. Okay. Oh, wow. Spotty in the live chat said he loves how I go live and it just disappeared from their feed. Yeah. Hey, man, what can I say? What can I say? All right, let's wrap this up. Let's take a deeper look here at these claims. Now, tomorrow's a big day for the jobless claims number, okay? So today was this little preliminary thing, right? We had some big job numbers, initial continuing claims, and they are hoping that it offers them a positive surprise. So the initial claims was above 1 million last week for the 20th straight week in a row. But after 2 straight weeks of rising, it fell last week from 1.435 million to just 1.186 million new Americans signing up for jobless claims for the first time. All right. Now, following yesterday's plunge in the ADP payrolls, continuing jobless claims confounded and fell and improved after rising last week for the first time in 8 weeks. A total of 55.31 million Americans have now applied for jobless benefits for the first time since the pandemic lockdowns began. That's over 330 layoffs for every COVID death in America, and massively more than the 22.1 million during the great financial crisis of 2008. However, as Michael Snyder detailed previously, under the surface of these numbers, things are far from rosy looking forward. When millions of Americans were losing their jobs at the beginning of the pandemic, we were told not to worry because the lockdowns were just temporary and virtually all of those workers will be going back to their old jobs once the lockdowns ended. Well, now we're finding out that that was not even close to true. But they had to give you some kind of hope, even if it was false hope. Over the last 18 weeks, more than 52 million Americans have filed new claims for unemployment benefits, and a very large percentage of them are dealing with a permanent job loss. In fact, one brand new survey discovered that 47% of all unemployment workers now believe that their job loss is likely to be permanent. The following comes from a USA Today article entitled "Almost Half of All Jobs Lost During the Pandemic May Be Gone Permanently." In April, 78% of those in households experiencing job loss felt that the situation would be temporary. Now, 47% think that the job loss is likely to be permanent, according to the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. What that number tells us is that we are facing the worst employment crisis in American history since the Great Depression of the 1930s. In other words, this current situation is more than 10 times greater than the Great Depression of the 1930s. All of those permanently employed workers are eventually going to need jobs. But meanwhile, the U.S. economy as a whole is in a free fall that is absolutely stunning. On Thursday, we're scheduled to get the GDP numbers for the second quarter, and everyone is expecting that it will be really bad. Data due Thursday are forecast to show U.S. gross domestic product plummeted an annualized 34.8% in the second quarter, the most in records dating back to the 1940s, after the spread of COVID-19 prompted Americans to stay home and states to order widespread lockdowns. That's right. Now, this downturn has been particularly hard on small businesses. Yelp reported 71,500 businesses that were listed on their site have closed for good since March the 1st. 81% of independent restaurants aren't sure they'll survive the COVID-19 pandemic. Nearly half of all small business members of the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce lost 100% of their sales or closed down permanently. What a nightmare. Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 7. But the third quarter was when the U.S. economy was supposed to come back, roaring back to life, supposedly. We were told that it would be the greatest economic comeback in our history, but instead the numbers are telling us that the economy is actually starting to slow down once again. In fact, U.S. consumer confidence in July is much lower than it was in June. U.S. consumer confidence fell in July to a reading of 92.6 as coronavirus cases surged around the country, shuttering some bars and other businesses and raising concerns about the future of the economy. The Conference Board reported on Tuesday that the index fell in July from a reading of 98.3 in June. The drop is more significant than the economists predicted, however, and is due mainly to a decrease in consumers' economic expectations for the short-term future. In addition, we just witnessed the largest decline in wholesale inventories since the peak of the last financial crisis. June was supposed to be the month of second derivative beats in economic data, reaffirming the manic bid in stocks for wholesale inventories. It was not. Again, expectations of a rebound from a 1.2% drop in May to a 0.5% drop in June. Wholesale inventories actually tumbled 2% month over month, the worst since the peak of the great financial crisis in 2008. So it doesn't look like any sort of a recovery is happening, does it? Instead, it appears that we are sliding into the next chapter of this new economic depression. In June, 19% of all U.S. small businesses were closed, but now that number is up to 24.5%. All right, that is not progress. When you have a fourth of all of the businesses closing down. With each passing day, more companies are announcing layoffs, and every worker that gets laid off is another American that doesn't have a paycheck to spend. During the last recession, millions of Americans slid out of the middle class, and we are watching it happen again. Actually, I thought the middle class died many years ago. Hey, but that's just me. So I guess that means that people won't be able to afford the new Madden when it comes out later this month, and they won't be able to afford the new 2K when it comes out first week in September, and I guess they won't be able to afford the new consoles for the next gen consoles this Christmas. So I don't know anything else but to tell y'all, you better watch out. You better watch Sony's stock price and watch Nintendo's stock price, and you better watch Take-Two Interactive. You better watch it, and EA Sports. You better watch them stock prices, man. If they don't sell no units because people can't afford the $70 to $100 price tag on the new next gen consoles, you better look out. You better look out. Doesn't look like Take-Two Interactive is going to make $700 to $800 million in profit this year. Not going to happen. Or will people be stupid like they normally are when the new Jordans come out? They take their last life savings to buy them, or they take their life savings to go buy the next iPhone. Will they do the same and take their life savings and buy the next console? We shall see. But like I said, during the last recession, millions of Americans slid out of the middle class, and we're watching it happen again. Our elected leaders in Washington are desperate to do something about this, and almost all of them seem to agree that more socialist programs are the answer. A fifth stimulus bill is being put together right now as we speak, but remains stuck in gridlock. And the Urban Institute is warning that if Congress does not hurry, we could see the poverty rate in this country rise substantially. And you know what happens when you take a man's job away. You know what happens. He gonna get money one way or another. And then you talk about defunding the police in the face of unprecedented rising in poverty. You're just asking for total anarchy. We're talking about Purge the movie daily. Millions more Americans will be thrown into poverty if Congress fails to enact three policies meant to help families get through economic hardships related to the pandemic, according to a new study by the Urban Institute. The report finds that the poverty rate for the last 5 months of 2020 will rise to 11.9% with expanded unemployment insurance benefits, a second round of stimulus checks, and increased SNAP benefit allotments are not approved, a significant increase over the projected annual rate of 8.9%. If the Urban Institute thinks that an 11.9% poverty rate is bad, just wait until they see what things will be like in this country a few years from now. Our entire economic system is in the process of melting down. Of course, this is being done on purpose. All right, this didn't happen organically. This happened because the elected officials that you put into office, America, decided on the dumbest thing in the world, which was locking down the total economy. What did you think was going to happen when you did that? What arrogance, what stupidity. So now it's going to take some time for the drama that we are watching to fully play out. Our elected leaders in Washington and the bureaucrats over the Federal Reserve will keep flooding the system with money in a misguided attempt to fix things, as they always do. And this will result in exceedingly painful inflation. The cost of everything, including essentials such as food, will be going way up, and that means that your money will increasingly become less and less valuable. And while this is happening, you can bet your bottom dime that you're going to start finding scarcity. You're not going to find the things that you need in the grocery store as far as food is concerned. And even if you do, your grocery stores are going to start putting limits on what you can get. They're called rations. Now, this was already happening in limited places throughout the country during the lockdown. Maybe some of you don't do this grocery shopping in your house, so you're not aware of it. But many stores, including Whole Foods, including Sam's Club, including Walmart, you were limited to what you could buy. If there was any hand soap, you only get one. If there's toilet paper, you can only have one. If there's meat, you can only have one pack. If there's eggs, you can only have 2 cartons of eggs. That's it per day. They were imposing limits. Now, is that legal or not? Who knows? Who knows what little secret bills and stuff they approved overnight while everybody was sleeping. But you're going to start seeing rationing heavy. All right? If you could print your way to prosperity, then Venezuela and Zimbabwe and the USSR would have been the wealthiest nations on the entire planet today. At this point, almost everyone in Venezuela is a millionaire, but almost everyone is also living in extreme poverty. History has shown that wildly printing money doesn't work, but the US is going down the exact same path, and it isn't going to be pretty. Even though things are quite crazy out there right now, this is our window of opportunity to get prepared for the troubled times that are ahead, because things are not going to be getting any easier from here on out. And with the latest round of virus relief continuing to be stuck in gridlock, we suspect things will get depressingly worse before and if they ever get any better. All right. So once again, you got facts and you got truth. I just hit you with both. And now I got to be bouncing. The opening bell has rung. So this is your time to handle some market business if you need to move stops and all that good stuff. Smash that like button for me, everybody, in the live chat. Go ahead and hit that. And if you have not already done so, you need to go to PulseWaveTrading.com to register for the up and coming webinar tomorrow, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard New York time, where you're going to learn some secrets about trading crypto that you have not heard and will not get anywhere else. All right, let's get this money. And if you are long in the gold right now, you need to go ahead and start popping, because I did. I started popping. I did it this morning right before I started the broadcast. I took a look at where we were, and I went ahead and I moved my stop. Currently, my stop right now in the gold futures, if you want to know where that is, I will put it in the trading room for you. So you'll be able to see that, okay? And with that being said, I'm out. Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Purge.